watching clips, the best moments from our live streams every Monday and Friday. Don't miss out. Watchale. You talk about a Hollywood mess. Rachel Zegler is at it again. And it's funny, this is not a flattering photo at all that they put up of Rachel Zegler. Disney Snow White Zegler apologizes for Trump re-election reaction. You get a chance to read this, Cameron?
Yeah, I did. And it's Ms. Ziegler has been a walking gaffe for months now, right? And I think she's embarrassed Disney a hell of a lot long before all of this. And I personally think her career is largely finished. I'm sure she's got Mr. Spielberg as her godfather or whatever, so I'm sure he'll send her scraps here and then. But I think she was finished a long time ago. But she's living in her own bubble. She doesn't know how finished she is, and she's just adding to it. But what's important is the apology. Her point of view on the election is the common point of view in Hollywood, right? Most of my colleagues do not disagree with her, right? That the Trump follower voters are fundamentally evil or misguided or people who were abused as children or whatever all the things are. I mean, that's their perception. But the fact that she had to apologize for it, it means that her people called her and said, baby, this ain't where the wind is blowing. You need to, this ain't going to work out for you. Shut up and apologize. She would have had to apologize 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago. She had to apologize now. That says something about where the industry is. What I've said, the whole industry is now very aware that the audience has changed. No matter how much they resent it, no matter how much they misunderstand the audience, they are aware that the change has happened, and their survival has to reflect the change. One thing that I just saw flash on my screen is that apparently Disney has decided to return to X as an advertiser.
A lot of them have. Yep.
Yeah. And it's just
Warner Brothers, X, a couple others.
So all that talk that we're boycotting, which is funny because, again, this is the power dynamic between someone like a Ms. Ziegler and the decision makers. So the decision makers, like Iger said, okay, get back to X. We've done our virtue signaling. We now need to get our thing out there. That's where the future is, right? They didn't, I don't know what they're doing on Blue Skies and there's other sort of like other things that Hollywood people go to cut themselves off from information they don't like, but that they're back to X. But the funny thing is, all of my Hollywood friends, because everyone just follows the flock like Pied Piper, every one of them deleted X the next day because it became like a social contagion. We're all going to delete X as a revenge against Trump and Elon Musk, right? And it's like, guys, can you just do what you want to do for yourself rather than that's the trend? But all these people, the writers and the lord of people, deleted X to go to Blue Skies. But guess what? Iger's going back to X. That's a decision maker.
15 million versus how many? 250 million on X. I mean, there's no competition. Let's read a little bit of this
again. Hollywood just right now. That's all because Hollywood just wants the bubble. It needs a bubble. If I were to go on to Blue Skies and do my guys, this is what Trump voters think like. They would just ban me. They don't want to hear it.
Right. Let me read a little bit of this really quickly. Hi, everyone. I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post I shared on Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding. And I am sorry I contributed to the negative discourse. This week has been emotional for many of us, but I firmly believe that everyone has the right to their opinion, even when it differs from my own. I'm committed to contributing positively toward a better tomorrow. That's pretty boilerplate.
Yeah, and it was written by her PR people. She didn't say that.
Right.
She didn't write this. This is her PR people put that out there. And, there are people in chat saying, well, she can say what she wants. We know who she is. Well, you always know who she is. What's the shock here? The shock is the apology, right? That at least her people had to put it out. And they're doing that for their own survival because, if she becomes the toxic client, the agent that represents her is going to be going down in the system, right? So they're all covering their butts. They're not covering her butt.
I have two questions for you before you head on out. Now, one, this article is already slanted because the way it mentioned how just conservative fans went after her on X, which how would they know?
Yeah, well, the presumption is if you voted for Trump, you're conservative, and
or even last year,
American voters, they think they are whatever.
It gives the backdrop before last year that they went after her. That's one thing I wanted to bring up, but because also too, it doesn't mention the fact that she said F Donald Trump. She actually said F Donald Trump
Mhm.
in her first thing. I mean, you're saying that to the leader of our
Sure.
country,
Yeah.
whatever you think of him. So they
Mhm.
didn't even put that in here.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, of course, they're going to edit it because they have to make her out to be the heroic person being, pilloried by the right wing masses, right? I mean, they have to edit it, right? So, yeah.
so you said something very interesting that you think
Mhm.
her career's done for
Yes,
now.
I do. I do.
I,
What else?
I'm kind of speechless with that because she's got a huge social media following.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. What does social media following mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Well, she's
When
finding out now.
Birds of Prey was coming out, I was like, this movie's gonna suck. No one's gonna go watch this movie. And I love Margot Robbie. Look at how I defended her in Barbie. I
Sure.
love her version of Harley Quinn. I think it's iconic, right? And I was like, this movie looks like it's gonna suck. And then everyone's like, well, look at all the social media people say they're gonna go watch it. Anybody watch it? It was a massive disaster, right? So social media
Hey,
following doesn't mean anything.
okay. Hey,
You can
you know
buy
what?
subscribers. You can buy
I'm just kind of
subscribers.
like amazed. I haven't heard that. That that's fantastic.
But yeah, but again, you
Is
can
this
buy subscribers. It doesn't mean anything. The number doesn't mean anything.
okay? All right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then:
Mhm.
is this now a cautionary tale for other talent, other creators, her age, her generation? Because
Yes, it is.
this could be seminal.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hmm.
She has crucified herself, and
Mm,
people of her generation, which is because it was the younger people that voted for Mr. Trump. People of her generation are already moving away from her direction, and she's been in a bubble for so long. People in
mm,
chat will talk about how she's different from Jenna Ortega, right? Jenna Ortega sincerely believes what she believes, and she doesn't care what you think, right? Jenna Ortega is going to be pro-Palestine, and she's not going to apologize for that, right? Because
mhm.
she is who she is, and she's more of the voice of her generation than this woman is, right? So, but she is a cautionary tale for young people to say, just keep your mouth shut, right? And also because remember, this is not just true of actors; it's everyone in Hollywood. Everyone wants to be popular,
Mm.
and there is this sullen realization that maybe the positions we've been taking are not popular with our audience anymore, right? And then so maybe even if you think your audience is stupid, just silence might be the best answer, which is how historically Hollywood has always handled the disconnect between the political views of performers and their audience. You just keep quiet.
Cautionary tale indeed. Wow, thank you, Cameron. Any one or two comments for Cam
No,
before he leaves?
the last thing I'll say is just look, guys, there is a shift that's happening in culture, but it's also going to require a shift of maturation. It's what I want to go full circle what I said at the beginning. It's going to require a shift of maturation in the audience as well. It's going to require the fans to start seeing things as they are. And we've talked a lot about sort of a lot of the nonsense that the propaganda that's being put out by Kathleen Kennedy about this non-existent Ray film and now this non-existent trilogy of that has even now been Variety shut that down, that this other new trilogy isn't real, whatever. And the point is, so many fans keep jumping on board these trigger points. If you're still playing the game that you're in 2017, you're going to be looking as silly as Ms. Ziegler is, right? You got to mature with where the system is going to. It's going to be so ridiculous if Disney starts producing the content that you want and you're still talking as if The Last Jedi came out 3 days ago, right? It's time for the audience to also recognize where things are going and be mature about it.